He had made arrangements with the cockerel to call him 3/4 of an hour earlier in the mornings instead of half an hour. When he did appear, he was attended not only by his retinue of dogs, but by a black cockerel who marched in front of him and acted as a kind of trumpeter, letting out a loud cock-a-doodle-doo before Napoleon spoke. Napoleon himself, attended by his dogs and his cockerel, came down to inspect the completed work. He personally congratulated the animals on their achievement, and announced that the mill would be named Napoleon Mill. The dogs flanked the procession, and at the head of all marched Napoleon's black cockerel. So that, what with the songs, the processions, squealers' lists of figures, the thunder of the gun, the crowing of the cockerel, and the fluttering of the flag, they were able to forget that their bellies were empty, at least part of the time. And finally there was a tremendous baying of dogs and a shrill crowing from the black cockerel, and out came Napoleon himself, majestically upright, casting haughty glances from side to side, and with his dogs gambolling round him. He had made an arrangement with one of the cockerels to call him in the mornings half an hour earlier than anyone else, and would put in some volunteer labor at whatever seemed to be most needed, before the regular day's work began. Napoleon is always right. Those were his very last words, comrades. Here, Squealer's demeanor suddenly changed. 3 days later, there was a terrible hullabaloo. "You, Boxer, the very day that those great muscles of yours lose their power, Jones will sell you to the knacker, who will cut your throat and boil you down for the foxhounds. They are taking Boxer to the knackers." Some of the animals had noticed that the van which took Boxer away was marked Horse Slaughterer, and had actually jumped to the conclusion that Boxer was being sent to the knackers. The van had previously been the property of the knacker, and had been bought by the veterinary surgeon, who had not yet painted the old name out. The cows lowed it, the dogs whined it, the sheep bleated it, the horses whinnied it, the ducks quacked it. Let us make it a point of honor to get in the harvest more quickly than Jones and his men could do. But at this moment the 3 cows, who had seemed uneasy for some time past, set up a loud lowing. Curiously enough, they went on believing this even after the mislaid key was found under a sack of meal. Suppose you had decided to follow Snowball, with his moonshine of Windmill's Snowball, who, as we now know, was no better than a criminal? "He fought bravely at the Battle of the Cowshed," said somebody. Clover treated the hoof with poultices of herbs, which she prepared by chewing them, and both she and Benjamin urged Boxer to work less hard. It was also more suited to the dignity of the leader, for of late he had taken to speaking of Napoleon under the title of leader, to live in a house than in a mere sty. Bulls which had always been tractable suddenly turned savage, sheep broke down hedges and devoured the clover, cows kicked the pail over, hunters refused their fences and shot their riders on to the other side.